Welcome back to another episode of the Inquisitive Mamba Podcast. This is episode 27. We have a lot to get into in today's show. Gregg and Katie, Gregg and Blake, the Vial Files from last night. I have a special guest joining today's show, Zacharyreality. Zacharyreality has over 200,000 followers on TikTok. He's an entertainment host. He's a reality TV guru. He's got all the scoop. He's got all the inside stuff. And welcome on, Guru.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on. I am excited to be here and dish on all of the things.
Yes, so obviously Monday night, the after the final rose was crazy. Gregg and Katie, Blake showed up. Obviously, they're engaged now. If anyone who doesn't know, if you missed that episode, it was super juicy. Zach has all the details on that, as well as I. So, but before we talk about The Bachelor, we have to talk about Gregg going on Nick Viall's podcast. That was crazy. There was a lot of juicy gossip in that. It was a pretty long interview. Did you get a chance to watch it all?
Yeah, so I was about to watch the newest episode of The Real Houses of New York City, and then I got like the notification that that podcast came out, and I was like, need to listen to this right now, especially because on After the Final Rose, I didn't feel like Gregg gave his like full side of the story. He didn't get a chance to really speak and tell his piece, and I don't foresee Gregg doing a lot of podcasts in the near future, at least. So I definitely had to turn off Housewives, put on the podcast, and listen immediately.
Yeah. So obviously now we know that we both watched it. It was pretty interesting, actually. Nick Viall was asking him some juicy questions, and I was just like, wow, like he answered, thoroughly. He answered all the questions, the whole thing about, leaving the show and apologizing. And it just seems like he was in the wrong. What do you think?
I mean, I don't think Gregg was necessarily in the wrong. I think that he didn't handle the breakup that well. Right. I don't really like how he left Katie so abruptly while she was crying. But I think he did have a lot of explaining to do, and I don't think that he got the opportunity to do that on After the Final Rose. Maybe because Katie kept cutting him off. Maybe he was just nervous. Maybe there was just a short amount of time. But I do feel like he kind of explained where he was coming from, and he did own up to his mistakes. Gregg did acknowledge that he handled the breakup poorly and immaturely, and that he is in therapy. And the juiciest thing he said is that he was projecting a lot of his dad's loss onto her throughout the season, because Katie also lost her dad. So I think it just provided a lot more context into their breakup and why he handled the way he did. I think people make mistakes. I'm not holding it against him as a viewer. Maybe Katie is, maybe some other people are, but I think it is what it is. And I'm glad he was able to say his piece in a long format way where he was able to like really speak and be heard.
Absolutely. And I'm actually, like you said, I'm graciousful and, understanding that he ended up, apologizing. And I think it was the right thing to do. And like I said, I don't necessarily think he was in the wrong. I just think it was a sticky situation. But now last night, we actually got the chance and the opportunity to see, what really happened, what went down through his eyes, and not just the 10, 15 minute. I don't even think it was 15 minutes on AFR. It was just really short, to the point, like, let's put Gregg in the hot seat. It was awkward, a lot of tension there, but I think they cleared the air, and I cleared the air. And like I said, I think all is well. I think, like he said, he wished Blake and Katie the best. I think that's all he can really do. You can only say sorry so many times, so.
Yeah, and I think they'll be fine. I don't think they're necessarily going to be the best of friends, but I never really thought Nick Viall and Caitlin Bristowe would be friends, and then they ended up doing collaborations on podcasts years later. So I'm sure that over time, Katie and Gregg will maybe become Bachelor cordial if they ever run into each other, but I don't really see them hanging out anytime soon.
I'm pretty sure I forgot to mention that Bachelor in Paradise is next Monday. Bachelor in Paradise is next Monday. It's been 2 years since we've seen Bachelor in Paradise. So it's juicy, it's gossipy, it's sexy, it's hot. They've got all this, like you said from yesterday, there's 41 cast members down there this year.
It's going to be crazy. There is a lot of people. That extended trailer really gave us everything we needed, because there has been so many spoilers on the internet for like weeks about who's going, what's happening, but the teaser really broke it all down. We saw so many people making out, like Tammy and Aaron, Grocery Store Joe and Serena. Kendall is making an appearance, Piper and Brendan. There's going to be a love triangle. I'm most excited to see this showdown between Mari and Demi, where Mari is throwing a cake in the fire with what assumes to be Kenny's birthday cake. So it's going to be a really good show. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well. And if you guys don't watch Bachelor in Paradise, then there's a new season coming out next Monday. I'm excited. Zach's excited as well. So we covered a little bit of, Katie and Gregg, Katie and Blake. So briefly about Katie and Blake, do you see Katie and Blake staying together? I know I saw that they're supposedly moving to Canada. I know you guys are, friends, and you're friendly. You've met her, a couple times. Do you see them staying together?
I mean, of course, I don't think I would want to ever say I don't see them staying together. They seem
Right.
happy. They said on After the Final Rose that they are planning on making it work, that they do want to get married one day, and they look super happy together. They have a lot in common. I believe they're going to move to Canada, but Katie also said she might be getting a place in San Diego, so maybe they'll go back and forth. Possibly they'll move to Africa or have a big African wedding. Not sure about that, but I think they'll last. At least I hope that they will.
I think she was one of the best bachelorettes in recent history. What do you think?
She was really good. I think she was so different. I think that her involvement with like Bachelor Nation and on social media was like really different than we've ever seen before. She gave us just a really different vibe that we haven't seen in a long time. So I think she was one of the best, but I also think that there's been so many amazing bachelorettes over the years. One of my favorites has always been Emily Maynard, like for the OG Bachelor fans. So I really liked Emily. Caitlin Bristow's amazing. Tayshia. I mean, Katie's definitely up there, but she does have stiff competition.
I didn't care for Claire's season. I know it was cut short, but I just really didn't. I was never a fan of her, even on Juan Pablo's season. I don't know. I just thought she had a really, really bad attitude all along. And I mean, her and Dale ended up, going off. And I think it was 3 or 4 episodes in.
Yeah, it was pretty quickly. See, I kind of liked Claire on Juan Pablo's season. I liked that she was bringing drama and like passion. But then after her like 6 appearances, because it literally took her 6 tries on the show before she came to Bachelorette, I just like liked her less and less and less throughout the years.
Okay, so enough of Katie's season, enough of Blake and Gregg, enough of Katie and Gregg. I just feel like I've said those 3 names so many times. So I know I recently saw that you hung out with Goddess Victoria, right? It's Goddess now, correct?
Yeah, Goddess. She's going from Queen to Goddess. Quite a rebrand. We did meet up for matcha last week. She is super fun. She's a great vibe, great energy. She's not exactly what you would think she was based on the show, but she is going to Goddess for Bachelor in Paradise. So I'm really excited to see her on that show. I think people are gonna like her a lot more. At least I hope they do, because I don't think she's the mean bully girl that she got a rep for on Bachelor.
Oh, so she's going to be on Bachelor in Paradise coming up here next week.
Yeah, so she's gonna be on the first episode. She has like a big goddess crown. She wasn't in much of the teaser, which could be telling that she doesn't make it super far, but I think she'll be on for a little bit. So hopefully she kind of can repair her image.
And okay, so now we're talking about Bachelor in Paradise a little bit. So Demi is back on Bachelor in Paradise. She's been there before, correct?
Yeah, Demi went to Bachelor in Paradise a couple of years ago, which was the last season it was on. And she actually broke like history because she was the first person to date a woman on the show. It's the first time we've ever seen a rainbow relationship. So
right.
I'm really excited that she's back. I don't think she's back necessarily to find love and to get engaged, but I think she's back to give us some drama and some chaos. So why not let her have it?
I think some of those members that we've mentioned so far are perfect. They're all, the drama is there. It's going to be hot and heavy and juicy. And next Monday, like I said, if you haven't seen Bachelor in Paradise, it's back finally, better than ever. So is there anything else recently in reality TV news that's been going on besides The Bachelorette?
That is a lot of what reality TV news is these days, is The Bachelor. I am watching Housewives. I keep up with Beverly Hills, everything that's going on with Erica Jane. There's a lot going on with that. Siesta Key was one of my favorite shows that just wrapped, and I know The Challenge is premiering tonight, so I might have to check that out because there are a few people from Survivor on it that I really liked because I'm a huge Survivor fan.
So you're okay. So right now it's really just The Bachelorette going on with reality TV.
Well, and Housewives,
right? But
those air a few nights a week, and then Jersey Shore is also on. I'm not really watching that.
Is anyone even? I think I saw you posted an Instagram story about Jersey Shore. Is anyone even still watching that?
A lot of people aren't watching that, but I plan on catching up. I am a few episodes behind. I did watch a couple episodes of the new season, but I do want to catch up on that now that Bachelorette's over and I have a little bit more spare time.
So Jersey Shore, it's the original same cast.
Yeah, it's the original same cast. They've been doing their new show, Family Vacation, for the past few years. So everyone's back except for Sammy's sweetheart. And then Angelina's back full time. And then they brought on like Lauren, who's Mike's wife, and then like Dina's husband, Chris. A lot of the like the significant others are on like full time. So it's a little bit more of like a mix. But it's not definitely not the same as it was, but it's still pretty good if you love the cast.
Okay, so since you're the reality TV guru, Zacharyreality, that's what you're known for. Is there any information or any like tea on Michelle's Bachelorette season, October 19th? Any like beginning things you know about being in, the reality world?
I know that they're starting to film the season in Palm Springs, and they're already filming there now. And then they have a plan to move to Minnesota halfway through the season. I know that there was 35 guys cast for the season, and then they only kept about 30 of them. So, and they put out a little teaser for Michelle's season, which she looks amazing in. So, I mean, it's going to be exciting, but right now my mind is just on Paradise.
So, it's going to be a bubble type situation like this past season on Katie's?
I believe so, but I heard they're moving to Minnesota, and I don't think COVID is as strict now, or there's not as many rules as there was when they were filming Katie's season. I'm sure they'll still do like some type of bubble for extra precaution, but I'm hoping that we get a little bit more travel because that is such an exciting part of The Bachelor. So I think we'll get a little bit more of that with them moving to Minnesota.
And there's one more, there's one more question that I have to ask you about reality TV, some tea going on, kind of just spilling through right now. Tyler Cameron and his ex-girlfriend or girlfriend Camilla Kendra. So what's the tea on that? I know I recently saw they broke up Monday. It was.
Yeah, they unfollowed each other on Instagram, which could mean that they broke up. It seems like everyone on the internet believes that they broke up. I didn't know much about Camila before she dated Tyler. I know she's now a big model. She's in Italy right now with her parents, but seems like they broke up, which is really weird because they were just on Watch What Happens Live a couple of weeks ago, and Tyler was like gushing over her, calling her his soulmate. So I really don't know what happened with that. I don't think that they're gonna really talk about it too much. I'm sure Tyler will mention it in like a podcast interview soon. I know he's promoting his book right now, but I hope that they actually broke up. Like, what if this is just a ploy to sell more copies of his book to get the press? I don't know. It's just weird how quickly they broke up from when they were just happy so shortly ago.
Yeah, and I don't know, it just seems like, I mean, like they were trying to keep it private for such a long time, and now they were together for 8 months, and all of a sudden they just kind of just call it quits like that. I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's more to that. Obviously, that'll come out, I think, in the near future. But he seems, like a pretty good guy. I've met her a couple times from being, back home in Fort Myers. But I'm just interested to see how that will all turn out, because he is one of the biggest Bachelor stars we've ever seen. That is, amounted to the success after his season. There's just a lot of people, and he's the number one, star. I think that's, amounted to so much. So
yeah, I mean, I think he's the most followed person on Instagram from the show, at least like males. So a lot of people are thinking, will he be the Bachelor? Is that a possibility? I don't think he needs the Bachelor. I don't think that is something he'd want to do. I mean, Tyler's like a whole new level of celebrity. So he also might be on Dancing with the Stars in the fall. There's a rumor about that. So yeah, I think Tyler's going to be fine. I don't think his dating life will be lacking.
I don't think he needs the Bachelor. I don't think he needs the Bachelorette. I mean, I think he's done, he's done what he's needed to do. I mean, if Tyler really wanted to, be with somebody in the public eye, I'm sure he could. I mean, he was with Gigi Hadid. That was kind of private as well. Camila, and then Hannah Brown, I guess afterwards, how that whole, those whole shenanigans went down. So that's the tea on Tyler Cameron from Zacharyreality.
Yes.
Zach, so towards the end of the show, I like to ask everybody, a few questions just to, lighten the mood, have some fun. So question number one, if you could interview anyone in the world, who would it be?
Oh my God, that is a really good question. I mean, probably Bravo Andy Cohen. I think he's like actually like the real guru of reality TV. He's been on so many shows, produced them, been the host of them. So I would say Andy Cohen would be someone that I would love to interview one day.
Okay, my next question. Who is the biggest celebrity you've ever met?
The biggest celebrity I ever met was probably Kim Kardashian.
Wow.
I met her at the Grove. She was doing like a Skims pop-up shop for her like clothing brand, and I just went to go check it out because I wanted to see it. It was like a big like influencer thing. A lot of people were going to take content, and Kim ended up showing up to her own Skims event, which I guess makes sense to see her pop-up shop. So I got to like say hi to her, and we took a picture. and she didn't really say anything because I think she had a mask on. She was being really silent, but it's probably the biggest celebrity I've met.
So when you met her, this was during the pandemic, I'm guessing, because she was wearing a mask.
Yeah, I think it was in April.
Oh wow, okay. So, but she seemed friendly. She seems really nice. I mean,
Oh yeah, super sweet, super short.
Yeah,
She was really pretty, smelled great. I would love to interview her as well one day.
I'm sure she had like 10 security guards around her.
She did have a few.
Okay. So my next question, where do you see yourself in 5 years or in the near future? Because I know you're in reality, TV right now. You're an entertainment host. Zacharyreality has over 200,000 followers on TikTok. So Zacharyreality, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I always envisioned myself on the red carpets, interviewing celebrities, doing entertainment hosting, kind of like everything I'm doing right now. I just want to continue to grow my career and make it bigger and better in
Yeah.
5 years. I also started my podcast, Zacharyreality, earlier this year. We've done 18 episodes, or 19 as of tomorrow. So I would love to just continue to grow that and make that bigger and better and get into like a studio and be able to get people in person now that the pandemic is ending, and just kind of run with that and see where that goes, as well as entertainment hosting. I want to be on the red carpets, going to events, just do all those fun things. So yeah, I think the future seems bright.
I think so as well. Okay, my next question here is, what's your go-to alcoholic drink? If you're going out with a group of friends, or you're celebrating, or you're doing something fun, or you just have had a long day and you're like, oof, I just need to just chillax and drink something.
I mean, I have a sweet tooth, so I love like a pina colada or something like that, especially if it's like nice outside and I'm drinking. But a go-to drink at a bar for me is just a margarita with like salt on it. It's always an easy choice. You can never go wrong with that.
Okay, so you're more of a tequila person than anything.
Yes, in college I would always drink vodka, and I always ended up on the floor throwing up. But tequila has really worked for me, and I love drinking tequila now.
Okay, so if you guys don't know, Zacharyreality loves tequila. He loves his margaritas with a little bit of salt on top. My last question for you, what is your biggest fear?
Oh my God. I mean, I think my biggest fear would probably be dying alone. If this, as cliche as that sounds, I hope to like get married one day or find a life partner. So I think my biggest fear would be dying alone and just like never finding that person.
Okay, so those are the 5 questions. You succeeded on all of them. I think that's it for us today. I want to give you a round of applause for coming on the podcast. I greatly appreciate it. You did great.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And everyone can always check me out, Zacharyreality, on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and my podcast out every Thursday.
And as always, we will see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the Joey Monroe. Don't forget to follow us on TikTok. Don't forget to follow Zacharyreality on TikTok as well. He has over 200,000 followers. He has all the gossip and all the tea that you have been wanting to and waiting to hear. So we will see you guys next time.
See you later.